Greetings, everyone. I hope that our broadcasting already start on all our platforms. Just remind you that you're here to hear about design thinking as a standard in business operation and also in legal operation. But before, let's wait a second till all platforms will share with you our faces and we will start. As I see, we can start. So I'm glad to share stage with two Camilas that will help me to explain, discuss, and maybe bring some new ideas in the topic of legal design. Because unfortunately, or hopefully, it's one of the most popular topic in legal tech, and not only in legal tech, but not everyone realize the huge power of legal design and in general design as a principle of making processes. So I hope that everyone today will enjoy our discussion. Of course, we are waiting for your questions because as I know that almost 260 people at least engage in this discussion, and I hope that even more will jump in with questions. So we will see all your comments. So please share your opinions, also questions that you would have. But from this point, I want to introduce two Camila that will share with me stage today. And the first one is Kamila Kurovska. Hi, Camila. We'll be glad to
Hi,
hear
hello.
a few words from you.
So first of all, I'm very sorry because of my voice. So that's the first thing. But the second most important thing, I'm very happy and very grateful to you, Regina, for the invitation, and to you, Camila, to sharing the stage. I think that it will be great events. Maybe for those of you who are outside of Poland, you can have the impression that majority of Polish women, they are Camilas. That's not the case. I mean, that's not a very popular name, but here we can say that we are in the majority of the presenters. So many thanks, Regina, for the invitation, and Camila for being a part of that event.
Yes, we collect here the extremely specific people, so special people. So to Camilas is just some additional advantage of our event. Camila Milik also will be great to hear some intro thoughts from you.
I won't be original and say almost the same as Camila before me. I'm very happy to share the stage with you, and thank you for the invitation and welcome all of you. It's a honor to be here and presenting. Hope you will find something interesting for you, maybe some new ideas will pop up after this presentation, and I hope you will not give us a name as double trouble like two Camilas here. I hope that it will be quite opposite. So I'm really happy again to share this few hour and a half this afternoon, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion today.
Thank you, Camila. I'm super sure that this discussion will be insightful for everyone. So that's why we decided to organize this event and share with audience your experience. And the first, I would like to speak Camila Kurowska. And the main question that our audience before event was asked, how you define legal design and what exactly practical can be in legal design, because in most cases people associate it with just something cute, yes, like just cute design of contracts, invoice with images and images, but I think there is something deeper than this stage. So I would like to hear your opinion. What is legal design?
So maybe before I start answering the question, I would like to comment on one thing that you mentioned at the beginning of your speech, Regina, that right now legal design is one of the most popular, let's say, words or concepts in the legal tech world. And frankly speaking, I'm quite surprised that you said so, because of course I can see, for example, on my LinkedIn, a lot of people who are talking about legal design, mainly abroad, because I focused on international market. But I still believed that it's only because of my bubble and only because of the algorithm on LinkedIn, because algorithm knows that I like legal design, so he or she is showing me the content about legal design. So I'm really very surprised, maybe not very, but I'm surprised, but at the same time very happy that you say so, that it's something common, it's something, let's say, popular nowadays. It makes me laughing because when I started to talk about legal design in Poland, it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It was, or maybe more, because I'm also an academic teacher, and I have my own graduate studies, legal tech and legal innovation, and there is one of the modules which are dedicated to legal design. So the first edition was started 3 years ago, I think. It was in the pandemic period or something like that. And legal design was something that nobody known what it is. And I remember one situation, because sometimes I also run workshops or trainings for local bar of attorneys. And I remember one conversation with one of the deans. I won't mention which one. So I told him that, I can do the training about legal design for your attorneys. And he looked at me and told me, oh, we prefer something serious. So so this something serious, as you mentioned, Regina, that a lot of people associate legal design with something fancy, something something not very serious. And I think that during last maybe 1 year or 2 year or 2 years, the situation changed. So the people, they do know what is legal design. So maybe I will explain how I understand legal design, because I think that there is no any any binding definition of legal design all over the world. But how how I define legal design is to designing legal services, legal products, or legal documents. Also, we will talk a little bit later about legal documents, in a way that we put into the center the user of that legal products, legal services, and legal documents. Even I would add to that group legal systems. But frankly speaking, I think that we are quite far, at least in Poland, but I think that in other jurisdictions as well, we are quite far from using legal design to design legal systems. However, ultimately, one of my friends, she sent me the information that even people from the public sector, they are having trainings about legal design and plain language. So I think that that's the good sign.
The great beginning, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So to sum up, how I see legal design is a way of designing user-centric legal services, legal products, or legal documents.
I'm totally with you, Camila, and I would say that it's become popular not because of meaning, because in fact, legal design, I would say, one of the hardest part of legal tech, because I would say that even understand how to automate something, it's much easier than start to understand how to design it, because it's exactly idea how you think about someone else. And unfortunately, not all lawyers are very good in it. I would say that this position that legal design is something cute, like documents with fancy fonts or something like this, probably comes from the moment that it become the easiest stage, let's say, for lawyers, because you don't need something specific in technology when you just, let's say, create your documents. You can choose the colors, you can choose the emoji that will be interesting and fun. But unfortunately, they skip up the stage of exactly principles and ideas of legal design. So from your perspective, how you think, what the core principles of legal design, what the, let's say, the main mechanism that you need to use during your legal design services, documents, or any your activity, let's say, in the sphere of legal?
Maybe I won't be original, but everything starts with the mindset. I mean, changing the mindset of the lawyers, but also with of the people who work with lawyers is very crucial here. Because if you are still thinking in a very traditional, conservative way, but I think that all the people that are here in the room, and also the people who are listening to us, I suppose that they are somehow the innovators and the rebels and the mavericks of the legal sector, not only in Poland but also abroad. So I think that the people who are listening, who are watching us and listening to us, they have quite open-minded, and the core principles, and they are in a very direct way related also with the leadership, with the attitude of the leaders in an organization. I mean, in a law firm or in in-house department, in a legal in-house department. They are very, very related to that core principles of legal design. And I have a list, not to remember everything that I want to say. So I will be helping myself with the notes. So first of all, the core principle of legal design is user centricity, which means that, for example, I will give you a lot. I will give you some examples from the field that I feel really that I feel that I'm an expert. So I mean in legal contract design. So or better said, even I prefer using legal information design than legal contract design, because I think that in a lot of cases, lawyers communicate with their clients or internal clients, in case of in-house lawyers, not only via contracts or via very formal documents, but they also communicate via, I don't know, emails. So you have to know also how to communicate in that kind of situation. So coming back to the user centricity, I think that it is very important to change that way of thinking, as you said, Regina, to try to think as a user of your legal services, legal products, or legal documents. That you, being a lawyer, you are not the person who knows it all, which is very common attitude, I would say, among the lawyers, but trying to research and trying to ask the users what they need, what problems do they have with the products, services, or the documents. So this is one of the principles. The second principle is the collaboration. And from what I see working with lawyers in many constellations, let's say, because I teach them, I work with them in mentoring one-to-one sessions. I run workshops for them. And I'm not a lawyer. I have the business background, so I have that. I could compare this to, let's say, words. And I wanted to say the problem, but the challenge of the lawyers the challenge that the lawyers faced consists on that during all the education process to become a lawyer, you work on your own. I mean, you study at the university, you study for the exams, then you are going to pass the exams, etc., etc. And you do all the work you do, it's the individual work. And for example, when you are studying business, so, and of course it depends on the university and on the course, etc. But generally the approach is that you should work on the solution of the problem working in group. And that principle about the collaboration, it's very important here, because lawyers have to learn how to work with others, not only other lawyers, but also another experts, which could be another obstacle, or maybe another challenge. Then the third principle is the simplicity. I would say that lawyers, they are very smart people, and they like to complicate things where it isn't so needed. I would say so. And the way of thinking of many lawyers is that you have to cover all the risks, all the potential situation. You have to cover with your document or with your services or whatever, everything. And we live in a world, in a very complex, very complicated, and very fast-moving world, I can say. And it has its reflection in the law. So law is becoming more and more complicated, more and more complex. So I would say that it's very needed, and it's impossible to go in that direction and to make it even more complex. I like the word. Frankly speaking, I don't know if this is the correct version of that word, but I use it a lot. It's the shamanizing the law. I mean that lawyers, they like to show to non-lawyers that the knowledge that they have, this is some kind of magical knowledge, that only the wizards, the legal wizards, they can understand what is behind the text. Another principle is the iteration, and why it is counterintuitive for lawyers, because what I see working with lawyers, they want to have everything perfect. I mean, they really believe that if they are sending something to the client or to internal client, it couldn't be good enough. No. It has to be perfect. So this iteration, I mean, making a prototype, then testing and checking if it works with the user, and then coming back and changing the prototype. I would say that that's a challenge for lawyers. Another principle that I think that lawyers, they are good on that, is the empathy. Of course, not every lawyer is good on that, but in general, lawyers, they work with people, with other persons. So somehow they have to have that characteristic, and the empathy should be, I would say, the part of their job. And here the empathy is very, very important, that we put ourselves in the position that we want to know something from the others. We want to know the problems, the needs of our users, and not to be at the position that we know it all. And then the last principle is, of course, the innovation. It's a broader concept. It's also, I would say, related a lot with the mindset and with the openness to the new things. And as we know, there are people who are quite open for the new things, and they are others who are, I would say, more reluctant.
I would say that I even don't have any comments because you covered the topic so broadly and so deeply. Thank you, Kamila, for that. Of course, we had questions for our discuss panel, and of course, it would be some comments from our audience. But before, let's begin discussion about legal design, and also some interesting moment about business changes, yes, change management, because in fact, as Camila told it, when you make the principles about others, not about you, you must to consider it some problems that someone else can face. And it's also the problem and area of, let's say, expert for changing management. So Camila, how you think, what the influence on business operation and changing management at all legal design has, and does it has, or no, by your opinion?
Yeah. So thank you. And I listened. The first thing I want to say it's I listened to what Camila said before, and there will be some points I want just back to them because they were very interesting, and also she showed the broader view of the topic. But to break it down in a simple way, as I see the operation design and the change management, is that for me, the operation design, the legal operations design, is like creating some tools, some processes to make the legal side of the business, or not only the legal side, but the to running company as a whole, as a complex, to work as smoothly and as efficiently as it is possible for the company. And I mean, like creating, first of all, what we should do is to, as lawyers, I think, is to, when we start working with a company, I think it should be interviewed really deeply, really broadly also, to see where we have any gaps, any missing points, any gray areas, what are the blockages for example, for the workflow, for the flow of the information. Maybe we're doing same things twice or even more. When we can, shorten the time of our answering, but because sometimes when we getting know the company, we see a little bit of mess, and where there is a mess, for example, the deadline can be missed. So it's really really dangerous, not only for the lawyers but also for the company. And sometimes we can see that the information, even within the company, is missing. The information was sent, but you never received it. It's missed somewhere in the middle. It's lost in the translation, let's say. And so that's the legal operation. It's a building an efficient system to make everything works better, faster, and more efficient. And it should be custom made, of course, to the company needs. It's, of course, we have some regular ideas, we have some, let's say, templates, we can use it, but we need to at least try to adjust it to the position of the company, to the needs of the company, to the market. And you ask also about the change management, and I see the two plates here. Like the first one, and I will, let's say, talk shortly, it's more of the transition management between old employees and the new ones. The point where two generations meet, and they have to meet halfway, because let's say the traditional methods, they don't work as fine as they did in the past. And we have, for example, some new generation lawyers who are seeking for new goals, for new vision, And that's the point when we need to think about in which way we want to lead our company. Like maybe it's more this topic or this view for the change management is more more focus on the law firms than the companies at itself, but it's, let's say, a one leg for the change management. But the second one is let's back to the companies. And this, so the second vision of the change management for me is we have legal operation, we have tool. So now we need to make that tool work and make we need to be a guide and help people to adopt to the new changes and new policies, for example, new regulation, new softwares. We need to be we need to guide them. We need to make some transition between the old systems and the new systems, and make sure that every employees in the company understand what's going on, and they are compliant with the changes. They are following the changes, because what's the point of implementing something new when your employees or coworkers they don't know how to use it, and what happened and what changes for them. And I think that's the main characteristics of the legal operations. So we have a tool and change management. So how to implement that tools? That's the two, let's say, point of view for that.
I would say that I totally agree with you, and it sounds like legal design can be the first step of a culture of changing. So it's more than even principles, it's something that you need to build as the business. And as I know that you have quite broad experience in exactly changing management, and what the problems of culture of changes you thought you notice, and maybe how you bring this new culture to companies that you was managing in that time, if it's possible to share, of course, such information.
So let's say in general, like the old ways of dealing with things and the new ways is that the new, let's say, the new lawyers, the youngers, they are really focusing on, they have fresh perspective, they are focusing on their goals on their careers, but they also really have in mind the space for work and life balance. In that they really care about how they are treated in work. They really pointed out what I see that the most visible thing is that they have a voice and they don't afraid to use it if something it's not okay. For example, they try to be a part of the company. I think that's the greatest thing, because they don't afraid to share their opinions and their ideas. And if you are smart enough, you can use it for the benefit of the company. Like because maybe we usually look in a one direction, because we have so many things to do that sometimes we are so focused on the one way of dealing with things. And now we have that help from the younger people. And if we want to listen, I think that a big part of the solutions for the problems of the company, we can take it from them, because they really want to share, because they really want to work in the environment that are that they are proud of, really. And the environment when the people are, treated fair and enough, but they don't want to, work so long as we did. I'm speaking of myself, because I'm used to work even over hours, but it was something natural for me that time. Now I see I can the world is still standing if I do things another way, another day, and in another way. So, and what is even more when dealing with the new generation is that they really keen on using the new technology in the work, and to make work faster and even better, to eliminate some some mistakes, to make faster correction. And also they are more flexible. They opting for example, flexible work policies. And of course, before COVID, nobody thinks about that. It was wow. I think that most of us were unable even to think about that, because our world and our work were constructed in that way, specific way. But COVID showed us that the COVID era, let's say, showed us that we can do whatever we want if you are fair. We can meet in the middle. So, and it works, and I think it will work, just if we want to listen and both sides agree to some changes, like not to make some revolution, but more opting for an evolution.
Thank you, Kamila. But let me, how to say, to be polite and also say some words to also millennial generation, because I would say that even me, like Gen Z, prefer to work with them because they are quite responsible, I would say, because Gen Z sometimes, unfortunately, not because of, again, the desire to get everything. But also, I would say that a lot of good stuff and a lot of will I see exactly from, let's say, millennial generation, because they work hard, they got the greatest advantage as experience, and now they can design the ideas, so they have enough background. Because unfortunately, a lot of experts now, yes, have quite I would say quite poor experience, life one, and they start to even design the processes that unfortunately sometimes not so predictable, exactly because it's slow. Yes, all of us know that what is in code, it doesn't mean that the same flow will be with all authorities. And that's why probably, as Kamila told, that lawyers love to be these keen knights that also bring from this house some normal flow, yes, that they guard the line of client. But also, I would say that the idea to structure information now is the main, exactly because it's too much of everything. And let's say 10 years before, you could quite easily to just check some acts and be sure that you quite enough informed about it. But now when, for example, we even check legal act about AI, it's just frightening. I must say that even I'm as CEO of AI project, when I want to refresh my knowledge, it's just scary to open all these PDF files. And that's why I use ChatGPT to just check what exactly PDF I must to check, because unfortunately on my laptop, it's, for example, 50 of them. So that's why probably we also try to somehow hack the system, because it's just our possibility, probably the only one, to be exactly on the top of this changing. And I think that it's the great start for my small intro about legal design in automation process. Unfortunately, I'm so predictable to have some slides if you follow our events, that I could not refuse to do a few of them for this one. And as to Camila's mentioned, that legal design, it's exactly about a mindset, how you see your work. And I must say that before legal design, a lot of good lawyers could say that they become modern lawyers. They become the advisor for businesses, yes, the friend of business, who can look from the totally another point of view and have structure in their mind, because they exactly have this experience. And with legal design, when it start to be like a knowledge, we also got access to this principle that in fact was built by exactly experienced, let's say, old mindsets lawyers and other business analytics who give us these ideas how to build all processes, but based on legal flow. Because in fact, legal side of the business, it's everything. I would say that legal operation, it's the blood of any company, because you cannot hire without understanding the labor law. You cannot pay taxes without tax advisor. You cannot even go with your website to the market, because you need somehow to regulate your in fact relationship with customers. So in fact, it's a blood that keep all points, let's say, blooded. Yes, so that's why it's important for now as a lawyers to understand that each part of processes must be led by legal services and must be led by a legal, let's say, blood. Yes, that, because in fact now we see that when something start to like additional consulting, it's always the same. I think that Camila is lawyer can agree with me that the best customer that you have, that someone who think that he will do something by himself, because every time it's the same. The one block start falling and everything start to fall, because it's exactly the problem of the structure. So legal design must start from mapping the processes. You cannot build the proper and effect in a legal system for customer, for your own company, for your legal services, if you don't understand any, let's say, if you don't understand the whole picture of it. And as you can see on my slide, it's not like you just start from the last part and you decided, oh, I want to automate something. Yes, so legal process or legal business. So I just choose the CRM system or some case management. No, it doesn't work, unfortunately, like this, because if it would work like this, it would not be such professionals. I have legal engineer who exactly checking the whole steps. And the first step that you must check is, of course, legal flow. So what the processes and what lawyers you have to understand, let's say, what the pool of work you can do, and also what the, let's say, background of our legal processes. Next stage, we need to check how team work. And if I remember right, Camila Milik told that sometimes you find out that the same stuff was made by the 5-6 people. It's exactly problem of team flow. So a lot of people do a lot of the same stuff or double stuff, and sometimes it's not like if someone do something 3 times, yes, some different people, it would be 3 times better. In most cases, unfortunately, it's in 3 times worse or just mess. And we will discuss it a bit later why it can be. Also, you can understand that your team could work perfectly, but if you have customers or users, they also add some house in all this on all this picture. That's why you also must understand how exactly you communicate with your customer, who exactly communicate with customers, in which cases it's happened, and what the problems can be. And it's also one of the cases of legal design, because unfortunately if we go to customers, it must be somehow related to our business. So it must be invoice, it must be some agreement, and else it's also legal. So everyone who thinks that lawyers will die because of technology, ChatGPT, I must say that you would be more appreciated and everyone would get your exactly value even more. But if you are a good lawyer, not just randomly copying other agreements. And the most important step, and the last one, is the business operation. Because as I told that business cannot function at all without legal base. So if we check that we have HR department and what exactly HR operation we have there, we have customers, let's say relationship, we have customers, even support and etc. It also must be detect to be sure that, for example, we don't use contact with users too often, because it's also can be even spamming according to GDPR. And also all such stuff bring us to only that point that technology as a solution is the last point, because you need to check what the technologies your team use, what the legal problems you have in your exactly work, to be sure what the instruments you would use. The second one, what will use your customers. Yes, because for example, I had a lot of cases when my clients choose the CRM system that was perfect, but all messages that they would send in, it was use Slack, and no one from their users use Slack because they all live in, for example, in WhatsApp, in Telegram, if you know such social medias. So it was wonderful instrument, but unfortunately users don't have access to them, and they spend so much time and efforts to build something additional, some API, to create the channel of communication with their client, because emails doesn't work for them, all messengers that they use wasn't allowed. And also, for example, sometimes business processes also can influence in even CRM system, because if you have your own bank that already let's say you have a bank account and etc., you must be sure, for example, that invoice system also connect with it to just even make this flow easier. Because I had also case when my customers automatize business processes that just a counter was doubling everything by their hands and making voice twice. At first, I mean, their CRM system, and after that, go to the bank and check how it's working. I must say that when they told me that it's automatization, I was surprised because in my head it wasn't, and the automatization was in that point that he see the reference how it must look like. So it's also about operation that your business has. Yes. So let's say bringing the more broadly idea about legal processes design. Yes. So it's not just something that we sit and decide like, oh, you know, I have a lot of agreements and also I have a lot of customers. No, it's unfortunately not the design. We also need to separate all data that we need. For example, we need to understand how and in what volume we have contract data. So it's mean our contractors, all the channels that we communicate, all the stuff that we need to know about them, to even understand what the main database we need to collect this data, because a lot of CRM even don't have enough folders or enough, let's say, characteristics of users for lawyers. That's why they're not so popular in legal area. And a lot of CRM doesn't work for lawyers, because in the middle of the process, they find out that, oh, I have so many items to add, and unfortunately only 5 lines of, let's say, description of my client. It just doesn't fit me. So it's one of the main things that we need to check. So what the characteristics of contract data, or of employers data, or for example about case data we have. So something like keys to our to our first, let's say, user access. Also, we need to understand what the case we use. So it's not the same when you work with rent, for example, cases, and totally different if you have tax problems. Yeah, so it's totally another flow even of communication, because in rent mostly it's B2B, and in case of tax it's always B2G, let's say, connections. Yes, so it's exactly different even points of validation information, also of keeping information, etc. So we also need to understand what the case we have, to be sure that, for example, we can even split some parts of works and make for them the structure that will other time navigate us properly, not just, for example, by numbers of cases. Because, for example, we was automating one law firm that also had, let's say, quite broad areas of cases, and we find out that it would be better even to separate system for different departments, because we find out that the flow that, for example, family law had, it's totally unfitted to anything else, because there was too many sites, also sometimes mediators, and etc. And there are no make sense to create system that will cover everything for again, field law, for example, or and also family law and tax law, because it was too specific. And it's also came out that it's easier, my client find out that it's easier to, for example, filtering cases not even just by data or year, but it's easier to separate them by the subject of the case. Yes, so what about adoption, about divorces, about just splitting property, and etc. Because, let's say, not even every advocate remember the year of the case, but he remember the key points of the case, and it's become easier for them to navigate their own work. I'm sorry. Also, it's important to understand. I'm sorry. It's important to understand what the documents you would use to split the templates for each already cases. Because in most cases, the automatization is the key if you know the structure of your documents. A lot of lawyers, unfortunately, still think that if there are no case to automate their work. But for example, we have Lingo Academy, and in Lingo Academy we already teach or educate, let's say, if I remember right, 125 lawyers who decide to automate their work. And the main question was, is it possible to automate some real cases, not just maybe some application like this, but agreement, for example. And they was surprised that if you build good base of clause, any type of agreement possible to automate, because you can just even clash yourself with a small small form, and after that, exactly after answering all your questions, you can get the combination of your own clause that would be 90% ready document, in some cases 100% document, just because you already understand how it's work. So in most cases, legal design in automatization, it's exactly separating, splitting your own knowledge on very specific, and in this time in the same time very broad understanding of your own experience, of your own knowledge. Yes, so how it must work. So you need to design how you think. In fact, legal design in the case of automatization, it's mean that you can sit by your own and understand or analyze how you decide what exactly will be in agreement, what the questions you ask yourself, how you got to the different points or to the different results of your understanding. Yes, exactly the same you will use in your flow, because you could make quite simple, let's say, filters that will show you some important information. And of course, you need to understand the operation that in your organization is to understand, for example, how what you need to use for sending to your clients documents, maybe to validator or to another your participants of team, and etc. So in fact, as you see that everything that I named, like user flow, team flow, and business flow, is connected, because you cannot build the normal system without understanding the all points. For example, data collection. It's one of the main, I think, keys for automatization, because you cannot automatize something that you don't have. So if you don't have data, you don't have quite something to work with. Let's say we have three basis information that we use, in fact, for automation. It's personal or contract data, terms, conditional, or proposal. So what the or in case of advocates, it would be probably case keys, and also bank details to send invoice, to make agreements, and etc. So what in fact the main problem, or how the mainly it's look like. In most cases, from my experience, companies at first have some online form or something that collects first contact data. And also in most cases, they also ask what exactly you want. Yes, so they ask what the offer was. So people, let's say, choose and use this data to fill them. And after that, some administrator again asked this question. So they called it, "Hi, Mr. Smith. Yeah, we see that you send us some requests, so I need to confirm it, etc." And what he did again? Yes, he again collect this data. So he again put in CRM this data. After that, it's go to legal department, because we need to create the agreement for our client. And what again is happening? Administrator again sending telling or something like this to lawyers that again they send some contact data, what the offer was, and in this case, lawyer also, let's say, creating the agreement. Yes, so also some conditionals. And they, in most cases, use case or document management system. Also, sometimes they use own CRM, because, again, it's very specific data. And in most cases, they also use, they want to use the templates. So they use in own system. Yes. And again, they collect this data. So after that, they send agreement to the next department, and it's partnership department. And in most cases, they again gives what the offer was and what the document was. And in the best case, partnership department have the same CRM as administrator. And I just remind you, it's in the best things. In most cases, they have their own, because they need to, for example, even create some chart or some dashboards with data that it would be quite useful. I'm totally agree. But again, they copying this data, and also in most cases they use some mail system, MailChimp or something like this. So they also put again this data to the sort system, and after that everything go to a counter that also have in most cases their own system, finance system, because they need to also count the taxes, VAT, and etc. etc. So in most cases they have their own system, and they again collect data like personal data, contact data, and also in most cases the terms of partnership. And in case if, let's say, everyone was so good and just 80 boys and girls, we would have the same data. But in 99%, I would be honest that this data would be mess, because someone else add additional context, additional comments, and etc. And in the end, in this CRM that must contain the main idea, the main information about clients and etc., you have just mass of comments, mass of data, and sometimes even not correct data that could be crucial in most cases. And it was just because no one understand how exactly they collect data and in what case they collect it. So as Kamila Kurovska mentioned, that sometimes no one think about someone else. And in most cases, for example, even administrator can not send it, but just have the same field, let's say the same system with legal department that would share, let's say, information, or they need to use from the beginning the system of lawyers, and online form must be connected with lawyers system, because the domain would be a moment of automatization, yes, the document automatization. So in the mapping processes, in automatization processes, you need to be sure what the process is the main. What in mapping processes we have operational, administrative, and also additional processes. So you must be sure what exactly your principal, the main processes, and automatization must be the core of that processes, not additional one, as in most cases is. And I would say that a few days before, Rafał also mentioned me in one post that I forgot to share with our audience about a result of AI, using AI between lawyers. It was reported by Europe, if I remember right, European Association Lawyer Association. And I would be very fast that in most cases, in size like the big firms, big law firms, quite behind, let's say, everyone, because they have access to technologies and they have a lot of CRM, case management. They have always own data knowledge, and they also have access to, let's say, LLM systems, so large language model system that they build by themselves. But in most cases, I would say that these big law firms invest in their lawyers. And exactly as Kamila told in the beginning, that she is lecturing such clients, and I can guess that it's exactly big law firms, or at least middle one, who invest not in technology as themselves, but in lawyers to share them or show them how the design works. Because everything that big law firms can do, you can also do with very simple instruments like Notion, Avocado, Trello, Asana, Zapier, even your Google Space or Microsoft, because everything, the flow it would be the same. Maybe, let's say, big law firms can build their own CRM system that will take into account every operation, and they have it without any settings. Yes, they don't need to set up it, but you can do everything the same, like totally the same with Microsoft. But you need to spend a few, let's say, days, maybe maximum months, to just set up the flow. But it's possible to do only if you understand your own legal design, if you understand your own legal flow. So it's a lot of, let's say, no-code platforms like Coda, Webflow, Make, that added to my slide, that you also can use, for example, for making some of generation documents, for example, much easier. But exactly the point idea that it's possible if you have the understanding of legal design. And I would finish my own speech and back to Camila's, because I would say that, Camila, it's a question to you, probably. What the main topic of, let's say, educational programs for big law firms you provide? If it's possible to share, of course, because I can guess that in main case, it's exactly understanding how to build your own flow, not about something super specific, how to build, I don't know, your own ChatGPT. Am I right?
The question is, which Camila are you asking?
My sorry, to you, Kamila Kurowska.
To me. So, frankly speaking, maybe that's surprising, but I don't work a lot with the big law firms. I mean, yeah, that's the. I'm also surprised, I would say. I work mainly in the field of legal design. I work mainly with in-house legal departments, and they really feel the need of such kind of trainings, because they are very close to the business, and they are very, let's say, they are very eager as well to receive a feedback from their internal clients. So for them, it is also very, very important to be as agile, as user friendly possible for the business. And also, what I see, that in-house legal departments, they are building their reputation, in many cases their personal branding, on the basis of legal design, on the basis of simplifying the documents, on the basis of how to design, for example, a document flow in the organization. In case of big law firms, maybe once again, that's the question of the mindset. Right now, I will be very direct. I would say that a lot of them, they think that they know everything, and I don't see that eagerness to know more, to know more things. I will give you an example. That's an example totally outside of legal design and legal tech. But I also run some workshops after I came back from Harvard, from Boston, from Harvard Law School, when I was studying this year. And I'm organizing workshops for partners and for leaders in law firms. And the surprising thing for me at the first edition was that I have a full group, but only there was one partner from the international law firm, and the rest was from the medium or even small Polish law firms. So and that's not the case that I don't have network between big law firms, because frankly speaking, I would say that in Poland, I know from every law firm, I know somebody or some partner or somebody who is responsible for marketing or for HR, etc. And I was sending them that information, that I'm organizing these workshops. and there was no interest about that. So what I see, that talking about big international law firms, they have a lot of processes and a lot of tools from the headquarter, and they don't have a lot of let's say freedom to choose the local supplier, or to somehow to modify the document flow, or any systems. And talking about big Polish law firms, they are sorry, they are quite traditional, and their way of thinking is quite conservative. I don't say that all of them, but I would say the majority. And from what I see, there are the medium law firms and the small law firms who are interested into innovation, into designing the processes, and all that stuff. So maybe that's not so obvious, because for me, I would say intuitively, I would say that that's the big law international firms who are the leaders into innovation. Maybe they are, but I would say that in a lot of cases they are doing it on their own.
And
I
may
think the
I
question-
add something
Yeah, of course.
to what Kamila said? I think that the main point here is the headcount, because in smaller law firms, it's the same as in in-house teams, where maybe we have some people, but usually it's still not enough for the big company at itself. So for those people, time is so precious that they don't have it just to doing the same thing twice or multiple times. So they must think like they need to opt for more strategic thinking, not wasting their time, because they have the same hours for many tasks, and their time is shrinking, not expanding. And they don't want putting out fires everywhere, they really want to prevent some fireworks in the company. So I think that's the main reason, because the time is the clock is ticking, and they need to find a solution to simplify things, to imagine how make some tasks faster, and what is the best solution for the flow of the documents. For example, if we have some let's say task that we are doing it repeatedly, how to speed up the process without, of course, making some easy mistakes, like how to manage of the process. And I think that the same things happen in smaller law firms, because they have only few people for doing things, are usually same people doing many tasks, because it will be the best if we will have some that we can do only things from the lawyer perspective that we really like, or we are specified at doing, let's say, one branch of the law, but the life is not that easy for us. Sometimes we need to do things that we are not like, or they are just boring from our perspective, and the other our other colleague will love them, but for us it's just killing us. But we need to do this because it's the part of our duty. And for example, that's the area where, for example, we can use some templates, because we can do we are doing these things repeatedly. So maybe that's the area when we can improve some tasks, and it will give us more time for other things to do that are on the backlog.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to add. So thank you for sharing it from your perspective. I must say that we have synergy of Regina and Camila teams. But exactly to back into your idea. So how you think, how legal design can leverage or improve the cross function of teams? Because as you told, that's probably exactly medium and even small businesses, they are seeking for some solution to, let's say, make their flow or their work easier. So from your perspective, how exactly legal design can help with it?
Which of which one should speak? Because I can always add something from myself at the end. It's no problem for me. Totally.
I'm so sorry. Always forgetting that Camila, that we have two Camilas, and I must also add surname. Yes, Camila Milik. If you can,
yeah, because I'm sorry, I of course forgot to include my surname here, so I'm just Camila.
No, it's okay.
Like generic, like. Yeah, I think that's to help to improve the communication between the teams, because in companies or even in a law firms we have teams that doing totally different way, but there's somehow somewhere we will need to meet. And for example, we can use some knowledge management system, for example, like because some teams dealing with some legal problems, some of these problems, depending on the market, depending on the branch, they are the same, or just have some minor changes, but usually they are the same. So these questions are very similar. They came to the lawyers and they asked almost the same question each week. So the solution for that is we can provide some or construct some knowledge system that includes some manuals for the rest of the company, for the employees, that is dealing with the majority of the questions we had so far from them. And maybe before they ask a lawyer, they find the answer to their question in that document, and will skip the part when they are asking some question. And if they're not finding the answer in the document, that's the, let's say, signal that they should ask the legal team in the company. And also the knowledge system is some kind of, I think that the most companies have that kind of system. Is like the archive system, like when we can easily find the oldest documents, some cases, just to even if we have some, let's say, lawyers in the team, they want to check how we deal with those cases in the past, they can easily find that kind of the documentation. Or for example, if some teammate from the legal team is on a vacation, we can, and something just pop up, like follow up from the old case, he or she can easily track what happened so far, and then maybe find a solution. They take care of the something new, or just know how to deal with those cases. I think it's also it can be like even for the legal teams or legal team, it's how to collaborate within the company, how to provide some questions for the legal team, or also how legal team itself deal with the cases, how people from the company can deliver their questions to you, because we have mail, we have Slacks, we have Microsoft Teams, so many streams of the information, so we can just engage one official way of how people can reach to us, and that will be also a solution for to keep all cases, all information in one place. And also we can use some tools to divide the work within the team, because as I said before, usually we should, or we have to deal with some cases from the different branch of the law, because in the ideal world, we just want to do our stuff, but the world is not as perfect as it should be. So how the flow of information within the company, because sometimes when the company is bigger, the legal team is also quite big and structured, and maybe that's also the important part. Also, how to deal with, for example, financial team, while reviewing the contracts, and that's the next tool we can implement, or we can provide, how to automatize the process of signing the contracts or reviewing the contracts. For example, if our contracts are like standard ones, the only thing that changes is, for example, the name of the contractor, the other side. Maybe we can just provide some sales team with reviewed paper, reviewed template, and allow them to insert some data from the client, because there's the only thing that can change, so we can be changed, so we can feel safer than because we reviewed the legal part of the contract. And also, like developing then, let's say, not the last one, but other option is also developing the compliance tracking system within the company. So as I said before, not just as legal people making a noise about something, but prevent that noise in the first place, and informing people, how to inform people about their duties or company duties that will came in the future, that we need to fulfill to be compliant with the regulation, or how to how to organize the flow of that information within the company between the teams. Like maybe we should have some standard stream that company use to stream some kind of internal information on, or something that is major for the company. And maybe we can also, as a legal team or legal itself, use it for informing people about some big deals. Let's call it that way.
In fact, you touched a very interesting topic, and I would like to put on the stage Kamila Kurkowska. In such case, we talk a lot about how legal design influence on team. So it's quite correlated with leadership. Yeah. So how the legal design can influence in general on your leadership in your business or your legal processes, let's say.
I would say that it has a lot of in common. I mean, leadership, but also to think about the topics like diversity and innovation. I mean, if we can put in line leadership, diversity, innovation, and legal design, I would say that that's a group of topics that are right now quite a challenge, I would say, in legal world, and have to be tackled in in a smart way. What I can see from my perspective, that there are organizations that it is head of legal or GC who is interested in legal design and who wants to introduce that method in their legal department or in their whole organization. But still there are some leaders, and here I will be a little bit how to say it, difficult maybe for the leaders in the law firms, that they in a lot of cases they are lacking that empathy and that open mind. So I see legal design as one of the, I wanted to say future competences, but maybe better word would be the present competences of let's say modern leaders, in both at the side of in-house legal teams, but also on the side of law firms.
Thank you. I would add probably maybe funny thought, but I was thinking about a lot, that in fact with legal design you can become even better leader for yourself, because in fact I use legal design for even navigate or create, let's say, structure of my own knowledge. And for example, now when I need to find something, I spend maximum 5 minutes. But before, let's say, even to check what the type of contracts I had, I could spend 1 hour. And it's exactly about legal design, how you create the processes for yourself and for another people. And I would say for automatization, it's like the last step of legal design, because when you know how everything must work, you understand how it can work, you can do this. And in fact, the main question in legal design and legal engineering, it's exactly understand how it must work and create it first your own map, and after that use the technology to use it. Legal tech without legal design, just nonsense, because if you don't understand how it works, you cannot be sure that everything that you invest for, it would be even efficient for you and productive. But in the same way, I would say that probably automatization is something that benefit my life so much that I even have my own life now because of it. For example, having a 5 months old child, let's say, make a bit harder to function like a lawyer and even entrepreneur. But now when I have 80% of my work that automate, for example, I don't need anything for creating documents for tender or from some resume for my team or even for offer. I just click 5 buttons, choosing what exactly the idea of the document must be or what the offer I want to say. And I have already prepared totally ready for sending a file. And I must say that the one of the pleasure or the best comments that I got from clients who was surprised because they was changing the budget and they was changing the idea of function, let's say, each 30 minutes, and each 25 minutes after I sent him the whole package of documents, and every time it was the best one that he thought, because that he saw before, because it's everything was done perfectly, and he was every time so surprised, and he told that they even changed one time more to check if it will be the same. And when they find out that I just use for my own the same system of automatization that we want to provide them, they decide to buy it totally, because they were surprised that everything can be done in 5 minutes, and I just wait in 20 minutes to be sure that everything that I needed to do, let's say, to click all buttons, is done. So that's why it's exactly about understanding how it must work. And lawyers who exactly deeply understand the law, yes, they have practice, they have experience and this advantage of years, exactly this person must be the most motivated for legal design, their own knowledge, their own documents, and after that, automatization. And probably that's why middle and small one is the main driver of legal design. And I'm pretty surprised to hear this, because I would be honest, in Ukraine, it's more a sphere for big law firms and also middle one. Small, let's say, law firms just want to survive in their routine. But in fact, I'm totally sure that if they would implement legal design, they would feel themselves much better. So I always remind myself to be short, but it's never appears in my speech. But I would ask the last questions to two of you, Camilas, and it would be pleasant to hear from you. Let's say summarize of ideas that you even, I would say, highlight here. So how you think, is it possible that legal design become the basis of any business in law firm, or it just, let's say, our dreams as legal tech? And do you see the beneficiary of such, let's say, core principle to start business, even not from logo, but from the legal design of the processes? I would ask Kamila Milik be first, if it's possible. You mute, Camille.
Yeah, thanks. From my perspective, to what I saw so far, and I think it's getting better and better, because now, from, let's say, in-house point of view, we see that implementing legal design into company and adjusting some procedures to let's say new ideas, and making things faster, making things easier, is not only beneficial for the legal teams or the company within, but also it can help the company outside and making the company become more competitive and excel the rest of the market, because when you can as a company, you can say, hey, our contracts, it's only 5 pages and it's contains everything that it's important for you from your point of view, that you should know, that you should implement, that you should be worried about, and not, for example, 20 pages for the same thing, when you need to, let's say, hire external legal team to, review that kind of papers, because let's remember that the growth of or the majority of, for example, clients for the middle companies or small companies are also small companies. Yeah. So, for example, they don't have, sometimes they don't even have a legal team for themselves. Maybe they have one lawyer, or just need to seek for some help. But also for the biggest companies, it's really more beneficial when they get a contract that is complex and really touch the most important part of the contract, of the deal, and of course covers everything else that it's also very crucial, but in a more digestive way. So that's really, I think, beneficial and help you to step up, in front of your competitors, and also help, help to multiply that kind of contracts deals when you're, for example, other teams know how to deal with the papers, and they know that they are safe, they are at the first, not the lawyers, but the other members of the company, the other teams, they are safe with the contracts because they know that it's simple, they understand them, and they know, of course, if some things need to be adjusted, they will be, but they can freely and easily use the paper in a short period of time, because they can send the contracts in, let's say, a day after the meeting, not 2 weeks after the meeting, because the legal team needs some time to review the contracts every time, even if there's the same deal. So I think that that's the crucial benefit for the company, not only in that legal design is important, not only within the company, not only outside, but also it's helpful to show up and make a stand up outside, for and be more competitive for a company.
Thank you, Kamila. And Kamila Kurkowska, how you think, is it possible that legal design will be the main skill or one of the first skill in legal business, or mostly in business in general?
I would dream about that, but I think that without the change into the education system, the legal education system, it would be very hard. That's the first thing. I really believe that it has a great sense to design products or services or documents according to the legal design principles. Because if you are not doing that, you don't know if the clients would buy it. So I think that it would really help for businesses. I mean, not only from the but of course from the legal field, to design and to think what we would like to sell to the market, and if the market really needs it. Because sometimes from my perspective, for example, I know the case in one of the pharmaceutical companies, that the legal department, they were working something like for two years on dedicated contract system, contract management system. And they were very happy and very proud of the system, but nobody except lawyers wanted to use it. So and it was because of that they didn't engage the stakeholders of the end users of the systems. So what I can recommend is really to think about legal design like a tool. I mean, like something that you can use on daily basis to help you to design better solutions for your clients.
Thank you. And I would add very shortly that legal design, in fact, it's by how you solve not only legal problems, but exactly how you deal with your life. Because as I told you before, in most cases, legal design, how you mapping the processes, it's way how you systematize something that you already done it a lot of time, and you make the road efficient. Yes, there are some bacteria that always try to find the best way to food, and in fact it's like the best demonstration how legal design must work. So we need to check always in most fast way and choose that one that would be the shortest and the most effective. And with such problem, with such challenge, you can for this you can use only legal design or like design thinking in general. So the last word would be from me. Please, if you didn't check anything about legal design or design thinking, do it. In fact, it's mostly help you to even deal with your day-by-day practice. And also like a homework from our event try to mapping at least one agreement that you made, and you would be surprised how in fact logically it is and how easy to construct it again and again. And maybe you would be on one step, let's say, closer to legal tech and design your processes from the zero to the end. So thank you for being with us this 1 hour and 34 minutes. I'm proud to be on the stage with you, Kamila Krukovska-Emilik, and I hope that it's not the last our meeting. And I'm extremely invite everyone to share this event, and you can also add comments after our broadcasting. We would be glad to answer your question. And if this topic was super helpful for you, please share your reaction and also repost it with your thoughts. We would be great to hear from you some insights too. Maybe something we missed or just you want to discuss it more. We don't say for you goodbye. We saying you to the next event. And thank you, Kamila Krukovska and Kamila Emilik, for sharing with me this stage.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you.